Oh, sorry for the disturbance. Okay, now, so globalization. So this is the last topic. So why is globalization is important? So globalization is important, right? So because it is one of the most powerful forces affecting the modern world. So that,
तो अगर हम देखें तो सारा का शेयर ट्रेड हो रहा था अराउंड 2300 वहां से प्राइस में फॉल आया प्राइस के 2000 के आसपास आ गया यानी हम ये कह सकते हैं कि शेयर के प्राइस में अराउंड 300 पॉइंट्स तक
okay, right. So it is one of the most powerful forces affecting the modern world. So much so that it can be difficult to make sense of the world without understanding globalized. So for example, many of the largest and most successful corporations in the world, so those are in effect truly multinational organizations. So with offset and supply chains stretched right across the world. So these companies would not be able to exist if not for the complex network of trade routes in international legal agreements and also some of the telecommunication infrastructure. So that were made possible through globalization. So important political developments such as the ongoing trade conflict between the United States and China. So those are also directly related to globalization. Sorry, right? So what is you see here? So this is the definition of the globalization of the World Health Organization. So according to WHO, the globalization can be defined as the increased interconnectedness and interdependence of peoples and countries. So it is generally understood to include two interrelated elements. Right? So the globalization is about the world becoming increasingly interconnected. So countries today, those are more connected than ever before. So due to factors such as air travel and containerized sea shippings and international trade agreements and legal treaties and also the internet. So in the world of business, globalization is associated with the trends such as outsourcing, free trade, and international supply chains, right? So, So now, what is the history of globalization? So although the many people consider globalization a 20th century phenomena, right? So the process, it has been happening for millennia. So examples, you see here, the Roman Empire. So that is going back to 600 BC. So the Roman Empire spread its economic and governing system through significant portions of the ancient world or centuries. And second one is Silk Road trade. So these trade routes which date from 130 BC to 1453 AD. So that is represented another wave of globalization. So they brought merchants and goods and travelers from China, through Central Asia and the Middle East to Europe, right? So, and also you see, pre-World War I, so the European countries made significant investment overseas in the decades before the World War I. So the period from the 1870 to 1914. So that is called the golden age of globalization. So this period, between this period is called to golden age of globalization. And post-war World War II, so the United States led the effort to create a global economic system with a set of broadly accepted international rules. So multinational institutions were established such as the United Nations and International Monetary Funds and World Bank and World Trade Organizations. Those are to promote international cooperation and free trade. So the term globalization as it is used today came to prominence in the year of 1980s, right? So that is reflecting several technological advancements, so that increased international interactions, right? So the globalization has been and flowed throughout the history, so with periods of expansion and retrenchment. So the 21st century has witnessed both. So global stock markets plummeted after the September 11, 2001. So some of the terrorist attacks in the United States, but rebounded in subsequent years, right? So however, overall the early 21st century, it has seen a dramatic increase in the pace of global integration. So rapid advances in technology and telecommunications. So these are responsible for much of this change. Right? What is the advantages in, right? You see here. So types of globalization. So those are political, economical, and cultural. So these three are very important in globalization topic. Okay. Yes. So first one is political globalization. So this type of globalization covers the national policies, so that bring countries together politically, economically, and culturally, right? So the globalization enables the allocation of power among the world leaders. So politically, the US has enjoyed a position of power among the world powers. So in part because of its strong and wealthy economy, right? That is the reason. So with the influence of globalization, so this PRC means People's Republic of China. It has experienced some tremendous growth within the past decade, and then it is very likely that in the next 20 years, so there will be a major reallocation of power among the world leaders. So China will have enough wealth and industry and also technology to rival the US for the position of leading world power, right? So then next, what are the political consequences? So in this globalization, so globalization results in reduction of state capacity. So that is the ability of government, that is to do what they do. So all over the world, the old welfare state that is now giving way to a more minimalist state, so that performs certain core functions such as the maintenance of law and order and security of its citizens. And also the entry and the increased role of MNCs all over the world, that is lead to reduction in the capacity of government to take decisions in their own, right? And also, globalization does not always reduce state capacity. So the primary of the state continues to be unchallenged. So that is, globalization result in an erosion of state capacity. That means by reducing the ability of government to do what they want to do, right? And next one is the state continues to discharge its essential functions. Those are law and order and national security. And consciously withdraws from certain domains from which it wishes to. It means it gives way to a more minimalist state, so that performs certain core functions such as the maintenance of law and order and security of its citizens, right? And economic globalization.